3, 2, 1. Hello everybody, my name is Natia and welcome back to Lady and the Trash. I'm back with another review that, as always, is more of a rant and a bunch of personal opinions about a show. The series that I will talk about today is Why Are You? As you may have understood from the title of this video, I didn't really like it too much, and I know that this is kind of an unpopular opinion because, as far as I know, everyone liked it. No matter what social media I was using, if Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, everyone was enjoying it. And at some point, I actually started to wonder if I was watching the same thing everyone else was. Before I start, I want to reassure everyone watching this video that, of course, if you liked Why Are You, I have no problems with it. You are free to have and share your opinions, just like I'm doing in this video. None of the things that I say in this video are meant to offend anyone and are completely personal. You are totally allowed to disagree, of course. But let's start. For the people who haven't watched the series, I'm gonna start with a very short, non-spoiler part. So, what is Why Are You about? The show revolves around two main couples. In the first one, Fighter is a third-year student in university and Tutor is his junior. The two start having feelings for each other, even though Fighter is dating Tutor's best friend, Hua. The other two main characters are Zon, an inspiring sci-fi writer who has a Fujoshi sister, and Saifa, who can be considered Zon's rival, since at the beginning they don't really get along too well. Zon soon finds out that his sister is writing a BL novel with him and Saifa as a couple, alongside with Tutor and Fighter as the other couple, and starts being obsessed with the idea that he's trapped in his sister's novel. As always, in the rest of the review, I will do some spoilers, so if you're planning to watch it and you don't want me to ruin that for you, I suggest you leave this video and maybe come back later. Okay, I start talking about how I feel about the plot. Actually, I didn't understand what this show wanted to be. At first, I thought it was going to be some kind of parody of old school BLs, but then I started to think that they wanted to be taken seriously, and I still have no clue, I'm gonna be honest. But at a certain point, I gave up and accepted everything the show was going to give me. To be really honest, in the first couple of episodes, I almost couldn't bear any scene with Son in it. First of all, because his obsession of him being trapped in a BL novel just because his sister told him so, it was pretty cringy for me. Also, the whole premise of the show didn't really appeal to me, and I really disliked Zon's sister, Zol, so much. Her fetishization of gay people made me super uncomfortable, and her writing a BL story about her brother and another random guy was even worse. That's why I couldn't enjoy Zon and Saifa's storyline until like episode 4 or 5, I don't remember exactly, when Zol lied to Zon, telling him that she stopped writing the novel and reassuring him that he wasn't trapped in the novel. From that moment, Zon started to be way more chill, and his character became more and more likable to me. I was also able to watch his cute scenes with Saifa without cringing every 2 seconds. When Zon started to accept the thing that he may be attracted to Saifa and just went with it, the whole atmosphere became more relaxed, and they were undeniably cute together. On the other hand, my relationship with Tutor and Fighter as a couple went in the opposite direction. I really liked them at the beginning. Of course, Fighter was frustrating and his primary school approach on Tutor was pretty annoying, but he had a proper character development that was pretty well written to me. In particular, for their couple, I appreciated a lot episode 7, and I loved all the scenes with Tutor's sister. But after episode 8, I'll talk about it later. The episodes that I enjoyed the most were definitely the ones in the middle, like from 5 to 8, since those were the only episodes in which I could fully appreciate both of the main couples. So I'd say from when I started to find Zon likable to the end of episode 8 was my favorite part of the series. But now I want to talk about those episodes. Episode 9 and 10. Okay, before I get attacked right away, I know that they had problems with filming and production because of the COVID-19 and couldn't really finish filming Saifa and Zone scenes. I mean, it's kind of disappointing that they were still filming scenes of episodes that were going to be aired like 1 or 2 weeks later. But never mind, I don't really know how these kind of things work exactly, so I'm not here to judge. But after episode 8, the storyline completely disappeared. We had 2 episodes of nothing. And as far as I know, Tutor and Fighter's storyline was already completed, so I can't even blame the virus for the absence of a plot. It's definitely positive that they completely normalized showing physical intimacy in a BL, and I totally understand why a lot of people liked it. But to me, those 2 episodes were so boring. I felt like they tried to cover the lack of a storyline with adding kisses. But if you get too much of something, then that thing completely loses value. You know what I mean? It was cute seeing them kissing like the first 15 minutes of episode 9, but then I had to put the episode at double speed hoping for something to happen. Maybe if we also had Zon and Saifa, I would have found Tutor and Fighter's scenes a little bit less boring, but we'll never know since all we've got was this 2 hours long beach montage. It felt like watching someone's honeymoon video, but against my will. And I'm sorry, but the whole script of those 2 episodes were so similar to porn movies that it made me laugh. It was a repetition of the same scenes over and over. Their dialogues were romantic, of course, but they were monotonous and repetitive. If watching them at first was cute, after a while it gave me the same feeling as walking in the park and seeing a couple on a bench eating each other's faces. I just want them to either stop or do it far away from me. Not that the last episode was much better. It was exactly the same, but at least we've also got Zon and Saifa. So it was a little bit more bearable because at least we had 4 characters instead of 2. Is it my fault? Maybe I'm too asexual for this kind of things. It's possible. But still, I'm asexual, not aromantic, so okay, never mind, just let's go on. Episode 11 and 12 tried to develop the storyline a little bit more with Fighter's dad who was against their relationship, but the way they resolved it was kinda bad in my opinion. I mean, at the end of episode 12, Fighter and his father get into this huge fight that wasn't even resolved at the end of the episode. But suddenly, at the beginning of episode 13, everything was fine and Fighter's dad completely approved their relationship. Why? Actually, when the whole dad drama started to happen, I was so happy because finally something was going on. I remember watching it and hoping that he would, I don't know, stab someone, murder someone, or something like that. I was so desperate for a plot that I wanted him to be a psychopath. As you may have seen, I was very disappointed with the second half of the series. However, I wanted to praise it for the healthy relationships that both of the couples had. Ignoring that scene in the first part of episode 12, let's pretend that scene didn't exist. Between the 2 main couples, there was never a toxic behavior, and overall they had a good amount of communication, which was actually a nice thing to see. A character that I particularly enjoyed was Hua. I'm actually a little bit disappointed by her character's underdevelopment, even though I didn't really expect a lot to begin with. She's Tutor's best friend, and at the beginning of the show, she was dating Fighter. I actually really felt bad for her in the first episodes of the series, before Fighter directly told her that they should stop seeing each other, because she was so much into him, but you could feel that her feelings weren't reciprocated at all. But she was so pure and nice. She was just a young girl in love. So I really wanted Fighter to break up with her as soon as possible in order for her to not suffer too much, I guess. And also because it was obvious that she was going to end up with their friend, Day. And the thing that got me pretty confused is how fast they made her forget about Fighter and get together with Day. I mean, she had literally just got dumped. Day told her he's in love with her, and she was immediately like, okay, let's date. Okay? So I was pretty disappointed of how poorly they handled her character after she broke up with Fighter. But overall, I found her very human and definitely a positive example of a female character in a BL. On the other hand, characters that I couldn't in any way force myself to like or care about were all of those useless secondary characters. I mean, this show wanted to have like 3 secondary BL couples that didn't even have a reason to exist. I never learned their names except for Blue. I don't know why I remember his name. And every time one of them was on screen, my questions were, first of all, who are you? And second, why are you in this show? What's your connection with the other characters? The ones that I really couldn't bear at all were Japan and Tantai. Yes, I did search up their names to do this review because I didn't remember them. I called them I miagolatori or I gattari, which in Italian means something like the meowers or the cat lovers, but not in a positive way. I swear to God, every time one of them started meowing, I wanted to throw the computer out of the window. The football players didn't catch my attention either, and in any case, all of their stories were rushed, and they felt more like missing moments of stories that weren't really happening in the series, but were happening more like in the background or something. In the last episode, for a couple of seconds, we can also see like other characters. And to be honest, I didn't really know who a few of them were. I didn't really remember them appearing in the show at all. So my point is that I really didn't understand the meaning of all of these secondary characters. Hey guys, it's still me. I'm doing this because I completely forgot to talk about the final episode, and there were a couple of things that I wanted to say. First of all, I wanted to say that I was really scared that they were going to make the show end as it was actually all Zol's novel or Zon's imagination, and I was just so scared of this, but luckily they didn't. Actually, when I arrived at the end of episode 13, I was like, you know what? Maybe if the ending would have really been that it was just a novel or something like that, at least it could be considered kind of a plot twist, and at least something would have happened. But thinking about it later, it's way better that they decided to just not do this and make it finish in a very normal and basic way, with also Zon giving this moral of the story, which is that you own your own life and no one else can decide what's going to happen in it because you are the only one who has control of it. And that was a nice thing to say at the end. It was a nice moral overall. So luckily they decided not to go for the ending that I thought and instead just choose a normal happy ending. The last thing that I want to talk about, and I'm sorry, but not really in a positive way, is the quality. I mean, I have nothing much to say about the cinematography and stuff like that. First of all, because I'm not a professional. And second, because I didn't find it anything special. What I did find pretty bad was the editing. There are some scenes in which the screen is black for like 1 or 2 seconds for no reason because the character is still talking in the background. And in general, I felt like they didn't really put too much effort in the details. The sound effects were pretty embarrassing too, in particular when they were added for no reason. Those kind of sounds are very common in this kind of shows actually, but in this show in particular there are just too many and most of them are horrible, like the horse snake or the oh yeah. Also, in every episode, there was a different problem with the subtitles and the audio. I mean, I don't care if it happens once or twice. We're all human after all, and I'm grateful that they automatically put English subtitles for international fans. But like until half of the series, if not more, every week there was a different problem. Sometimes the subtitles weren't in sync, and I'm not talking about 1 or 2 seconds of difference. I'm talking about more than 5-6 seconds, making it impossible to understand, or the English translation was incomprehensible. Also, some scenes reached a level of trash that literally cracked me up. I mean, there's a reason why my channel is called like this, because I do enjoy trashy things. They make me laugh a lot. For example, the one in episode 12 in which Zon imagines himself and Saifa in the beach together, but in his imagination everything is animated, is a cartoon, literally. And it reminded me of like the second scene of the whole show in episode 1. But apart from these 2 scenes, in the middle of the series we never get these animation parts. So the one in episode 12 felt completely out of place. Just like they planned to shoot that scene with the actual actors, but then because of the pandemic they couldn't, so they replaced it with a cartoon version of them. I don't know, I found that scene so incredibly funny. As for the acting, I definitely think that it improved during the show. But at the beginning, I felt like everyone was acting in a rather stiff or exaggerated way with no in between. To end this video on a positive note, I did really like the soundtrack of this show. In particular, the song that Saifa and Zon sang at the concert, which I believe was actually called Why Are You, just like the series. I think that's all I wanted to say. As you could see, I had more negative things to say compared to the positive ones. I'm sorry. If you like the series, of course, I have no problems with it. And if you didn't, well, you're not the only one. I hope the next review will be about a series that I liked, so you won't have to hear me rant for like 20 minutes. So yeah, that's all for now. Thanks for watching, subscribe if you want to, and see you next time. Bye bye!